This may be your last chance to pick XRP up at under $3, as XRP has officially begun its ascent for new highs and a new uptrend. We can confidently say that the low came in at around $1.61, showing unusual strength relative to the rest of the market. In other words, $3 is still cheap, and at any point in time, if you're able to accumulate XRP under $3, you're well ahead of the curve. And XRP is giving you another opportunity to accumulate, as it's been squatting between the range of 260 down to 240. But right now, some key indicators are giving us extremely bullish signals for reference that we haven't seen going all the way back to November 8th of last year, before XRP broke out and skyrocketed for a new all-time high to $3.40. Is it possible that right now XRP is ready to rip for new all-time highs as well? Well, with the political environment and regulations in Washington loosening up, it's likely that the entire crypto market's going to rally unlike ever before. And here I'll be sharing a quick video from the Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong on his visit to DC. But that's not all, because the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia just met with Donald Trump and pledged to invest $600 billion over the upcoming 4 years of Trump's presidency. And that's just the start, as Qatar has pledged double that at $1.2 trillion in economic exchange. This is absolutely unheard of and never happened under any other administration. This sets a precedent for other nations to not only follow, but to choose sides in a trade war between superpowers China and the United States, to which the US now seems to be winning. The biggest players in the room are choosing to side with the United States, and these developments will fundamentally pump stocks and cryptos over a sustained period of time, as that capital floods the markets, fueling economic growth, innovation, business, and providing markets with much needed confidence that the economy is in a very healthy place. So we're going to cover all of this in this video, folks. And if you haven't yet, head on over to Bull Runners HQ on Twitter or X and like the pinned post, comment XRP below, and sign up for Blowfin in order to win or have a shot to win $100 in our XRP giveaway. Last week, it was this gentleman right here. And every single week, we're giving another $100 away in XRP to one lucky winner. Now, here's what's cool. When you actually look at the amount of people that go ahead and do this, there really aren't that many. So your odds and shot of winning are quite high. And the steps are quite simple as well. And in order to know who the winner is, we announce every single Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. All you have to do is subscribe to our newsletter, and actually you'll get a free ebook that teaches you the 23 secrets to becoming a crypto millionaire. So be sure to sign up for that right here. And as always, my friend, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Now let's dive into the video. Hello and welcome back to the channel, my friend. If you're new here, you can find me on Twitter or X at PauliDefi, PauliDefi. And things are getting quite interesting from a global macroeconomic level, as both Saudi Arabia and Qatar are pledging to do insanely large deals with the United States. Now, this does not mean that the Qatar is going to go invest $1.2 trillion directly into the United States and our stocks. It's more so an investment into buying products or services or goods or an economic exchange. In return, the US will broker these deals and provide those products and services. So things are looking really good at an economic level, even with all of the uncertainty surrounding Trump and the tariffs. But as the markets have already thought about it and priced it in, at the end of the day, everyone's beginning to realize that Trump is not 100% dead set on a specific tariff or a specific amount. He's using the tariffs to bring every single country to the negotiating table, because at the end of the day, they need the US more than the US needs any individual country, and that also includes China. So even when markets were hurting or suffering or worried or not not too long ago in a panic about everything from China being imported being extremely expensive. That deal has already changed, and now they're sitting at the negotiating table. And so even if we were to start to raise tariffs again, I think markets are already getting kind of comfortable and used to this idea of things fluctuating, and environments like that where they don't actually fear that much, prices are going to tend to go up, especially when you get real economic investments from other global players like Qatar and even Saudi Arabia. And right here you have one of the most progressive and forward crown princes in history over in Saudi Arabia right here. His name is Mohammed bin Salman, pledging to invest $600 billion in the United States over the next 4 years. And by the way, this is just the icing on the cake. More and more countries are going to do the exact same thing because they also want to broker and do deals, not only with the United States, but with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Still, it was pretty cool to see how Qatar invited Donald Trump into their country. Let's have a little watch of this. Now, in terms of that Qatar deal, it revealed that there was over $243.5 billion in new deals, including the largest aircraft agreement in Boeing's history, where Qatar Airways will purchase 210 US-made Boeing 787 Dreamliners, 777X aircraft, and this will deliver over 1 million American jobs through production and delivery. And again, when you think about the economic ripple effect over 1 million well-paid jobs and just the signal that that sends for confidence into the markets, things are going to be looking good. Now, that's alongside other things which you can go ahead and look into for yourself. However, just to understand the scale of a deal like this, in 2024, bilateral trade between the two countries totaled only $5.64 billion. So things are going to expand to the tune of thousands of percent. Now combine this with extremely positive developments over in Washington, where leaders and founders in crypto are in the right rooms, helping legislators create the right rules of the road. Let's have a listen to Brian Armstrong.
Hey y'all, I'm here in DC today trying to help get legislation passed for crypto. There's a big vote for the stablecoin bill coming up hopefully tomorrow. That's going to be a big important one. And then we're going to move on to market structure legislation, which is even more important. We've been meeting with members of the Senate on both sides of the House, and there's a lot of good excitement about getting this done. Like any good negotiation, there's a lot of details to work out at the last minute, but we've been stressing the urgency of this. There's 52 million Americans who want to see this legislation get passed, and we need to make sure the industry stays on shore here in America. It's also Stand With Crypto Day. Stand With Crypto invited over 60 founders to come meet with their elected representatives to underscore this message as well. So fingers crossed, it's an exciting historic moment. Let's see if we can get some legislation passed.
And at this point, it's extremely likely that over the upcoming months, maybe into the end of the summer, we are going to experience some real steps forward in terms of crypto legislation, where everything in the crypto market is going to pump and skyrocket for new all-time highs. As I'm even going to share a video of the Senate Banking Committee's chair, Tim Scott, who is a Republican and very pro-crypto, talking about that legislation and what they aim to pass.
Under the Biden administration and the Gensler at the SEC, they just didn't like crypto. What I've said very often is simply this: we must innovate before we regulate. That means allowing innovation to happen here at home in the digital asset space is critical to American economic dominance across the globe. The good news is President Trump is leading the way to a crypto revolution, starting here at the Banking Committee. And that's why we moved very quickly the Genius Act, focusing on the crypto world. That's how you get things done. It's passed through my committee in a bipartisan fashion. Next, market structure on its way to be heard in the committee, marked up, and I believe passed into law by August.
In other words, by August, we have the Senate Banking Committee Chair, Tim Scott, saying it's extremely likely we are going to have something passed in law. Now, even if they don't win on all their concessions, Republicans are currently in control and will continue to be into the midterm elections. So this is huge. And in another panel, Tim Scott was quoted saying he is bullish that they are able to regain the high ground of digital supremacy. The reason that the industry left the shores is because it was impossible to do business here. We had no clear rules of the road, and then the SEC would just go sue companies saying you broke the rules. However, now he aims to change that by passing regulation that incentivizes companies to want to do business on shore. So that said, we're going to dive into the charts now. And in this situation and circumstance and environment, I'm highly confident that unless some major black swan event or poor economic news creates for another downturn, the odds of us seeing new highs on something like XRP are extremely high. Now, I could cover the entire crypto market, but Bitcoin is holding its range pretty well at 103,000, again, which leaves room for the rest of the crypto market to do well. Now, that said, we have a pretty strong support right here at the $2 level to the 195 level, and consistently we were holding that support. And again, XRP has showed some pretty strong relative strength to the rest of the market. We had a bear trap where people were trapped into being bearish here, entered some shorts, and then probably are sitting in a loss right now or even got liquidated into these new highs. That said, this would be our now local bottom, which is very much confirmed. And now we have a series of what? Higher highs and higher lows for a confirmed uptrend, and a break above 260 should easily take us to $3. It's probably going to happen overnight. Now, when I say overnight, what I simply mean is we could hang in this range for about a week, and then in a single day, you'll see XRP pump easily to that $3 range. Anything above the $3 range is major bull zone territory for XRP, where I could see us hitting at least $5 next, and potentially never come back down to the $2.40 range as stablecoin legislation is passed, market structure legislation is passed, the entire world gets on board with crypto, the entire world is sending economic investments into the United States, the economy continues to grow stronger and stronger, people get more greedy, the bulls re-enter. But generally speaking, we are in the start of an early phase to the upside, and so things are looking really good. Now, what's even more interesting is the fact that we are seeing a confluence, not only of the trend, and I'll go ahead and remove that, but we're also seeing it touch perfectly that 10 EMA. So even if XRP comes down to the $2.30 range, I would be accumulating in these ranges because that would be just a retrace in a series of higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend. So a break above 260 is going to be uber bullish for XRP, and this may be your last chance to accumulate in these ranges below 250 and definitely below $3 into the upcoming months and year. But here's where things get even more interesting. I typically like to look at a 3-day chart to confirm moves and breakouts to the upside. And so if we were to just get rid of those EMAs, which again are a confluence, and we were to focus solely on that 3-day MACD, you can see that the very first time we crossed over and we saw this little green bar turn into a bigger green bar and then yet a bigger one right around here on November 8th of 2024, this blue line crossing over the orange line in for a bullish trend and momentum allowed XRP to pump for a gain of about 477%. Now, since that point in time, we saw bearish divergence here, and then we saw it decline and the orange line cross over this blue line. Well, yet again, we just saw that crossover happen right here on April 28th of this year. And guess what? That is into a new uptrend. So again, a breakout above this 250 to 260 range is going to be uber bullish for XRP. And actually, we're flashing this signal over the last couple of weeks. So if things remain the way they currently are, even with a bit of uncertainty around tariffs, I think markets are already used to that, have priced that in. Crypto markets have been getting bored. They want to toss their money into something, and they are going to FOMO into new highs. So I thoroughly expect XRP to do really well over the upcoming weeks. And yes, bulls are consistently in control, even from the day trading / future side. So again, I am currently accumulating between the range of right now down to 230 for new highs. And that's it for the video, folks. If you enjoyed it and learned something new, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also check out Altcoin Pro University, which is your one-stop shop for tools, training, resources, and the right community to hit your crypto goals, whether that's to become a millionaire or have complete total financial and time freedom. We have almost 1,000 members, and they're here consistently because not only do we have all sorts of classes and courses they can take on their own time, but our experts of DeFi researchers and analysts are constantly sharing all sorts of altcoin picks, yield farms, airdrop alerts, which is essentially free money. And through our DeFi quick wins, you can actually earn your money back just by putting your crypto to work for you, earning interest on it, which should pay for the platform itself at $97 a month. Many of these yield farms can do that with between $1,200 to $5K, just depending on the yield you're looking to get. In other words, if in 14 days you can't get this cost covered by simply using one of the farms in this platform, then go ahead and ask for a refund. Now, from that point forward, it's all completely a free ride. And especially as the market is beginning to perk up, many altcoins and random meme coins are going to pump for thousands of %. This is stuff that our team does the hard work for you, so you can just go ahead and toss a little bit at each one of them. And again, it doesn't require much to make enough to cover the cost of this membership every single month. For example, he shared one ticker right here saying, don't be too greedy, but this person still earns 69% in 1 hour. Now do the math on that. A couple $100 would have almost paid for this membership. Or another person right here that put in literally $100 and took out $300 in profits in less than 48 hours. And the list of opportunities truly are endless. I can give you one example, but we have dozens and actually probably hundreds inside of Altcoin Pro University. So go ahead and check it out. You can find the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching this video, my friend. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.